There are moments in life that shape who we become, moments when a decision defines our identity, moments when a single exchange can dismantle barriers that have stood for decades, even centuries. This is the account of one such moment, 5 minutes that altered everything. A small town in America, the kind of place where everyone recognizes everyone else, where customs are deeply rooted, where progress moves slowly, far too slowly. A town with a diner on Main Street, red vinyl booths line the walls. A chrome counter shines beneath overhead lights. A black and white checkered floor stretches across the room. The air smells of fresh coffee and bacon grease. The American dream plated and served, but on the front door hangs a sign, handwritten plain, brutal, no service for Asians. The sign has been there for years. No one questions it, no one confronts it, it simply exists. Part of the scenery, part of how things have always been. The owner put it up because his father did. His father put it up because his father before him did the same. Hatred handed down like a treasured family recipe. But today that changes. Today the sign will come down, not because of new laws, not because of marches or protests, not because of fists or bloodshed, but because of 5 minutes. 5 minutes of honesty. 5 minutes powerful enough to shatter a man's heart and rescue his soul. Inside, the diner is half full. The lunch rush is fading. Regulars occupy their usual seats. Same booths, same orders, same conversations repeated for years. Comfort, habit, the security of things never changing. Outside in the parking lot, a car pulls in, nothing special, just a car, 2 people inside. They've been driving for hours, a road trip across America, seeing the country, hungry, exhausted, searching for a place to eat. The driver is a man, 28 years old, Chinese-American, lean, strong, not the bulky muscle of a bodybuilder, but the refined, purposeful strength of a fighter. A body trained for precision and control, but that is what stands out first. What you notice immediately are his eyes, sharp, focused, observant, eyes that absorb everything, eyes that overlook nothing, eyes that have faced darkness and refuse to blink. This is Bruce Lee, though he does not yet know that his name will one day echo through history. For now, he is simply a young martial artist, a teacher, a man carving a path in a world that often resists his presence. In the passenger seat sits his wife, Linda, 23 years old, white, beautiful, gentle, long dark hair, kind eyes, eyes that search for goodness even when others fail to show it. She loves the man beside her, loves him in a society that tells her she shouldn't, loves him despite the stares, despite the murmurs, despite the hatred. In some states, their marriage is illegal. In some places, their love is considered a crime, but they don't care. Love doesn't seek approval. Love doesn't recognize color. Love simply exists. They're hungry. They spot the diner, it looks ideal. Classic small-town America, apple pie, home-style meals, exactly what they need, food, rest, relief. They park, step out, stretch their legs, the sun is high overhead. The warmth settles into the day, everything feels ordinary. Then Linda sees it, the sign, her stomach sinks. She's seen signs like this before, too many times. Every time the pain returns. Every time it reminds her that the man she loves isn't welcome everywhere, that their relationship isn't accepted everywhere. That hatred still survives, still breathes, still hangs from doors like a poisoned welcome mat. Bruce, she says softly, her voice is quiet, defeated, let's find somewhere else. Bruce stops, looks at the sign, reads it carefully, no service for Asians, 6 words, 6 blades. He has encountered signs like this his entire life, in California, in Washington, in Nevada. Everywhere, and familiarity doesn't dull the pain, it sharpens it. Because each sign reinforces the same message. No matter how hard he works, how skilled he becomes, how much he accomplishes, there will always be people who see him as less, as other, as unwelcome. But Bruce Lee did not become Bruce Lee by accepting labels placed on him by others. No, he says, his voice is calm, steady, unyielding. This changes today. Linda looks at him, she recognizes that expression, the resolve. The fire, Bruce, it's not worth it, she pleads. Let's go, there are other places. Bruce turns toward her and takes her hand. It is worth it, he says, for us, for everyone who comes after us, for every person who looks at that sign and feels small. That sign has been here long enough. Today it comes down. Linda studies his eyes. She doesn't see anger. She doesn't see rage. She sees something deeper, purpose. Conviction, a mission. He isn't going to shout. He isn't going to fight. He isn't going to destroy anything, but he is going to change something. She squeezes his hand. Okay. Together they walk toward the door, hand in hand, an interracial couple in a time when that alone invites danger, when it risks violence, when it violates unwritten rules, but they walk anyway because love is courageous, or perhaps because love has no alternative. Bruce opens the door, the bell above it rings bright and cheerful, innocent, announcing their presence. Inside, the diner falls silent. Conversations halt mid-word, forks stop inches from mouths, coffee cups hover near lips, heads turn, every eye locks onto them. The silence inside is thick, heavy enough to press against the chest, thick enough to choke. They feel the stares, they feel the judgment. They feel the hatred pulsing through the room like heat rising from open flames. Still they step forward, still they enter. They stop just inside the doorway, standing quietly, waiting for the man behind the counter. The owner comes into view. Jeff Wilson, 55 years old, gray hair, thick forearms, hands shaped by years of flipping burgers and wiping counters, a face that has smiled at thousands of customers over the decades. But not today. He wipes his hands on his apron and approaches them at a measured pace. His expression is firm, unmoving. This is his diner, his rules, his ground. He stops 5 feet away, looks at Bruce, looks at Linda, then returns his gaze to Bruce. "Can't serve you," he says. His voice isn't raised. There's no anger in it, just flat certainty, like he's announcing that today's special is no longer available. The sign's clear: no Asians. Bruce doesn't flinch, doesn't bristle, doesn't respond immediately. He simply looks at the man, studies him, looks beyond the words and into the person standing beneath them. "I saw the sign," Bruce says evenly. "But we're hungry, we're customers, we have money to pay." Wilson shakes his head. "Doesn't matter, that's the rule, you need to leave. Now." Linda feels Bruce's grip tighten slightly around her hand. She turns her face toward him and whispers, barely audible, "Bruce, please, let's just go." But Bruce isn't looking at her, he's looking at Wilson, not with hatred, not with fury, with something else entirely, curiosity perhaps, or sorrow. "Sir," Bruce says, still calm, still respectful, "may I ask you something outside, just you and me? 5 minutes, then we'll leave if that's what you want." Wilson blinks. This isn't how these moments usually unfold. People shout, people argue, people storm out, but this man, this Asian man, is composed, polite, asking for a conversation. It unsettles him. "There's nothing to talk about," Wilson replies, but the certainty in his voice has softened. 5 minutes, Bruce repeats, "man to man, please, then we'll go, I promise." The diner watches, listens, waits. Wilson feels their eyes on him, feels the expectation to be firm, to enforce the rule, to maintain authority. But there's something in Bruce's gaze, something in the tone of his voice. It isn't threatening, it isn't confrontational, it's human. "Fine," Wilson says at last, 5 minutes outside, then you leave." He says it as if he's granting permission, as if he's in control, but the truth is he's curious. What could this man possibly say? What could 5 minutes possibly change? They step outside into the parking lot. The sunlight is bright, the air is still, just 2 men facing one another. The world watching through diner windows. Wilson crosses his arms, defensive, guarded, prepared to dismiss whatever comes next. "Well," he says, "say what you came to say." Bruce doesn't cross his arms, he doesn't mirror the posture, he stands open, relaxed, the posture of someone unafraid, someone with nothing to prove. "Why do you have that sign?" Bruce asks, a simple question, no accusation, no hostility, just curiosity. Wilson scoffs. "Because it's my business, my rules. I serve who I want." "But why those rules?" Bruce presses gently. "Who decided Asians can't eat in your restaurant?" Wilson shifts his weight. "That's just how it is, how I was raised, how my father ran this place, it's tradition." Bruce nods slowly as if he understands. "So someone taught you this," he says, "your father and likely his father before him, which means it was learned, not natural, not truth, just something passed down like a recipe." Wilson frowns. He doesn't like the direction this is going. "So what's your point?" "My point," Bruce says carefully, "is that if something can be taught, it can also be untaught. If you can learn hate, you can learn not to hate." "I don't hate," Wilson snaps defensively. "I just have standards, preferences." Bruce tilts his head slightly. "You see my wife over there by the car?" Wilson glances over. Linda stands waiting, watching, a white woman, pretty, clearly worried. "Yeah, I see her, she's white." "I'm Chinese," Bruce says. "We're married, we love each other. Your sign says I can't eat in your restaurant, but she can." He pauses. "Does that make sense to you? We share the same home, the same bed, the same life, the same dreams, but I can't sit next to her in your diner and eat a sandwich." Wilson opens his mouth, then closes it. He's never thought about it like this, never needed to. Bruce continues. His voice remains soft but unrelenting, not attacking, just exposing. "Cut my hand," Bruce says. "Cut your hand. What comes out? The same red blood, the same bones underneath, the same pain when we're hurt, the same joy when we laugh. What's different?" he asks. "Skin color, just skin. You really believe skin makes you better or me worse? You really believe God created some people more deserving of lunch than others?" Wilson's arms slowly fall to his sides. Something inside him shifts, something uncomfortable, something he doesn't recognize. You never thought about it, Bruce says gently. Because no one ever asked you to, they just told you what to believe, and you believed it because that's easier than questioning, easier than standing alone, easier than being different from your father, from your town, from everyone you've ever known. Wilson looks down at his hands, hands that have served thousands of people, but not all people, never all people. Bruce steps a little closer, not in a threatening way, just present. Grounded, that sign on your door, Bruce says, you think it protects something, your business, your lifestyle, your comfort. But what if it protects nothing at all? What if it actually traps you? He lets the word settle, traps you in fear, in smallness. In a shrinking box that gets tighter every year as the world keeps moving forward. You can change with it, or you can die angry and alone, defending a piece of paper. Wilson's eyes begin to glisten. He doesn't understand why. He isn't someone who cries. He hasn't cried since the day his father died. But something in this stranger's words slices through him, cuts into places he keeps sealed shut, places he avoids looking at. Every morning when you wake up, Bruce says softly, you make a choice, fear or love, hatred or understanding, that sign or humanity. It's a choice, he continues. Not tradition, not destiny, a choice, and you're free to choose differently right now, today, in this moment. Silence. Just the two of them, the sun overhead, the truth standing between them. Wilson lifts his head and really looks at Bruce, not at his skin, not at his race, at him, at the human being in front of him, at the man who has spoken more truth in 3 minutes than Wilson has heard in 55 years, at a man who isn't angry, isn't attacking, just trying to help, trying to show him a door he never knew existed. I'm not better than you, Bruce says, his voice barely above a whisper now. And you're not better than me, we're just human, both trying to live, both trying to love, both trying to matter. That sign tells me I matter less than you, but deep down you know that isn't true, you feel it, maybe you always have, no one ever told you it was okay to admit it. It's okay to be wrong, Bruce says, it's okay to change, change isn't weakness, change is courage. A tear slides down Wilson's cheek, just one, but it opens a crack in a dam, and cracks spread. My 5 minutes are up, Bruce says, he steps back, I'll leave now, I gave you my word. But remember this conversation, he adds. Remember that you had a choice, and remember that tomorrow you'll have that same choice again, and the next day, every day, choose wisely. Your soul depends on it. Bruce turns and walks back toward Linda, toward the car, toward leaving. He's done what he came to do, said what needed to be said. The rest isn't his to control. Behind him, Wilson stands frozen. The sign fills his mind. The sign he defended his entire life. The sign his father hung, the sign he never questioned. He sees it now, truly sees it, not as tradition but as a prison, not as protection but as poison. Something inside him shatters, a wall that stood since childhood collapses. A lie he repeated so often it became truth finally breaks apart. Wilson begins to cry, real crying. 55 years of holding himself together, and it all falls apart in seconds. He looks at the sign on the door, that hateful, vile, evil sign. And for the first time he recognizes it for what it is, not normal, not acceptable, not tradition, just hatred, ugly, naked, indefensible. He rushes to the door, tears the sign down, rips it from the glass, holds it in trembling hands and stares at it. This thing he defended, this thing he thought mattered, it's nothing, just paper, just ink, just fear pretending to be strength. Wilson runs after Bruce. Wait. He shouts, his voice breaking. Please wait. Bruce stops, turns around. Linda stands beside him. Wilson reaches them, breathless, sobbing now, not caring who sees. I'm sorry, he chokes. God, I'm so sorry, you're right. Everything you said, that sign, all of it, I was wrong. I've been wrong my whole life. Please, he begs, please come back, both of you, eat here, I'll serve you myself. I need to do this. I need to start. I need to be better. Bruce looks at him, a broken man. A man who has just woken up, and Bruce doesn't see an enemy, he sees a human being finding his way. You don't need to apologize to me, Bruce says gently. You need to forgive yourself for all the years you spent trapped. You're free now if you choose to be. Please, Wilson repeats. Let me serve you, both of you. Let me show you I've changed. Let me start fixing this. Bruce and Linda look at each other. Tears fill her eyes as well. She nods. Yes, she says. Okay. We'll eat, Bruce says, but we pay full price. We're customers, equals. That's all we ever wanted. Wilson nods frantically, wipes his face, holds the door open the way he's done for thousands of customers before. But this time it means something. This time it isn't automatic. This time it's a choice. They walk back inside. Every eye follows them. The silence is overwhelming. Wilson leads them to the best booth. His hands are shaking. Please, he says, sit. What can I get you? Bruce and Linda sit side by side. In a booth, in a diner, in a small town, something that should be simple, something that should be ordinary but isn't, it's historic, revolutionary, human. Wilson takes their order himself, writes it down even though he knows he won't forget it. He needs to do something normal, something grounding. He turns and walks toward the counter, the kitchen. Wilson goes inside and cooks their food himself, something he hasn't done in years. Normally, the cook handles the grill. But not today. Today is different. Today, Wilson cooks. He pours his new understanding into the eggs and bacon. He puts his new choice into the toast and the coffee. When the food is ready, he brings it out himself. He sets the plates down carefully, almost reverently. "Enjoy," he says, his voice trembling, then softer. Thank you for teaching me. I'll never forget this." "Never." Bruce smiles, a small smile but genuine. "Now teach others," Bruce says. "That's how the world changes." One person teaches another who teaches another. Ripples turn into waves. Wilson nods. He can't speak. He turns and walks away before he breaks down again. Bruce and Linda eat. It's just food, eggs, bacon, toast, coffee, ordinary diner food, but it tastes like freedom. It tastes like victory, not victory over the owner, but victory over hate itself. 5 minutes of truth defeated decades of lies. When they finish, Bruce leaves cash on the table, full price, plus a tip. They stand and walk toward the door. The diner remains silent, still watching. At the door, Wilson waits. The sign has been ripped apart and thrown into the trash exactly where it belongs. "I mean it," Wilson says. "I'll tell this story. I'll teach my children differently. I'll teach my grandchildren differently. I'll break the cycle because of you, because you took the time when you could have just hated me back. You chose differently," he continues. "You chose to teach. Thank you." Bruce extends his hand. Wilson takes it. They shake hands. Two men, no longer divided, just human, just equal, just free. Bruce and Linda walk outside, get into their car and drive away. Another town, another mile, another day. They will face more signs, more hatred, more walls. But today, one wall fell. Because of 5 minutes. Because of truth. Because one man chose words over fists, understanding over anger, teaching over fighting. Years pass. Wilson keeps his promise. The sign never returns. His diner serves everyone. His children grow up differently. His grandchildren never learn hate. He tells the story thousands of times. The day Bruce Lee taught him how to be human again. 5 minutes that changed 50 years. And when Bruce Lee becomes a legend, when his films fill theaters, when his philosophy spreads across the world, Wilson tells anyone who will listen, "I knew him before the fame, before the legend, when he was just a man." A man who chose 5 minutes of conversation over a lifetime of hate. And those 5 minutes saved my soul. That is the power of words, the power of truth, the power of choosing love over fear, understanding over anger, teaching over fighting. 5 minutes, that's all it took. 5 minutes to tear down a wall that had stood for generations. 5 minutes to change everything.